The 75th anniversary of the D-Day Normandy invasion has come and gone, but the memory of what was accomplished on June 6, 1944, will forever remain. Remembering those heroes who gave their lives on that devastating day is critically important. D-Day is recognized each year by the wonderful citizens of Normandy, both young and old. And it is, of course, also recognized by so many who lost loved ones, along with those who realize what was accomplished on and around those beaches. Never to be forgotten is how the U.S. and its allies were able to bring freedom to the oppressed and prevent Nazi Germany from taking over Europe and beyond. The Allied invasion was an effort that will go down in history as one of the most amazing military feats.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
And I was there. I landed on Utah Beach in an LCI. I was an 18-year-old skinny, 112-pound nervous kid. We were being shot at by heavy German artillery. There were thousands and thousands of ships off the coast as far as you could see. I could hear the screaming artillery and ships getting hit before I climbed down the rope ladder into a landing craft. There were bodies and debris floating in the water everywhere you looked. You know, I wasn't alone out there. I'm sure there were others who were as scared as I was. They say there were about 164,000 American, British, Canadian, Free French, and others that were out there on the 5 landing beaches. Thousands of guys were killed that day. They were the heroes. I was one of the lucky ones. I was a survivor. I know how much it means to me to go back. I want to share the experience that I've had with other D-Day veterans. It's important for me to take these other guys because they're probably not to get another chance to go back there. I know what they did. I saw what they did. And I appreciate what they did. Each one of us has our own story to tell.
Being able to document firsthand accounts, not read it in a book, but hear it from you who were there, from others who were there, that is an enormous blessing. All I can say to you is, in the coming years, as they grow very, very short for our heroes who are leaving us so rapidly, if you get the opportunity, even today at the table, to take time to listen, soon it will only come from a book.
We are honored to be able to send 7 D-Day veterans on Flight 48 so they can return to Normandy to join their fellow soldiers, sailors, and airmen for the 75th anniversary. Please join us as we thank and cheer for Mr. Dennis Thompson, Warren Goss, William Calvert, Jack Gutman, James Folking, Carl Felton, and George Ciampa.
Okay, off we go.
Well, before the war, when they bombed Pearl Harbor, I was 16. And my brother went in the service right away. My mother had 3 boys. She had 3 boys in the service. When I landed here, I was 19. 19 years old I was when I landed on this beach. It did a lot of things for me that I was glad to do. But it made me sorry for the things I did that I wish didn't have to do it, you know. All I knew I was going into Utah Beach and how important it was that they said you got to flee your country and get rid of the Nazi parties, you know. I didn't realize how serious this was until I got to Germany. Then I knew, understand. Then I knew why I was doing it. When I come in on the ship, I was so far out I could hardly see land. And I climbed down the nets, and we got in the Higgins boat. The Higgins boat went out, it circled around, they lined up, and then we come into land. And Germans could see us, but we couldn't see them. See, this here's all metal. Our Higgins boat was all wood. Had a tin pan floor, and it was all wood. I was standing about right here. It wasn't quite this high. When that rain dropped, that hit the first guys, I didn't think it'd be too wise to do that. So I went over this way. I jumped off this side here. Everything we trained for in England was good. But a lot of things that happened you cannot train for. I didn't think that a whole Higgins boat would get blown up and disappear. I saw 2 or 3 of them go. And then when I hit the beach, I didn't think I'd see the first row of men disappear. Of all the maneuvers and practice you do, you can't practice that. When they do it over, I went over the side of it, and I come in with water up to my chest. Our job was to pin down the Germans with firing power that they would not be able to pick off the engineers. And it's hard to tell a fancy story about a thing like this. You just can't do it. But you live it and try to live it. When I come in there, I didn't expect to see bodies floating in the water. They don't train you for that. And when I got in here, I was running up the beach. I had to hide behind one of these iron cages. The Germans were shooting a machine gun at me. And I figured they weren't shooting at me, they were shooting at the obstacles. And they had mines tied up there. And if he hit that mine, they'd blow up all the guys. Then we went to the swamp. It was over here someplace, you know. And I saw the paratroopers laying in the swamp. And the guys that tried to get through the swamp, when they got wounded or something, they couldn't stand up and they'd drown. And I made it up to a church that was set in the back of there. The front blowed out, the back was blowed out, and the altar was still standing there with the Bible on it. Well, I'll tell you, I had a lot of troubles the first 25 years at home. And the first time I came back here to the beach, and I saw the kids playing on the beach, no fighting going on, the people were happy, that changed my whole life. Cut away half of my dreams, and I seen how good they was having and how they progressed. Made me feel good. Made me feel good that we did something worthwhile. You know, you go clean back to the Roman days, in the days of Jesus Christ. There's always a story there for them, see? And that's history. This is history. And it seems like no matter what happens, how many fights and battles has been through, the Lord always leaves somebody to tell a story. And that's these veterans that are left, that survived this. And the people got to know it. I know I try to tell the kids in school about it. And when I talk to them, they say they never heard anything like it.
Nous sommes heureux et honorés de vous accueillir au collège Félix Buot de Valognes. Nous avons à cœur de transmettre aux jeunes générations la mémoire des événements qui se sont déroulés en Normandie en juin 1944.
It's an honor to be here, and the United States of America has always been such an ally with France, and the United States of America probably may not even existed had it not been for France. We're so happy to be here. For France and the United States give honor.
Did you find you in the same company?
These men that made the invasion of Normandy with myself and all, we were in different places. I want to paint a picture for you on what the Germans saw and how big this was very quickly. There were 5,000 ships, 11,000 planes, and 150,000 men. There was lots of loss, but if you asked any of these men, they would say they were happy to do it not only for our country, but for you, because you are our future and we love you.
Were you drafted or did you enlist?
You asked if we enlisted or we were drafted. I was drafted. All these guys enlisted except me. I tried to enlist. I wanted to be a pilot. My eyes were not good enough. I was put in a company where our job every day for 11 months was gathering the dead American soldiers and the German soldiers. And for 11 months, from Normandy, the Battle of the Bulge, through Germany, every day I was with my company gathering the dead, 75,000. I didn't like doing that job. I had to. And when you're in the Army and they tell you to do something, you do it.
You French people, the little kids, did a lot for us. They really did. I can't tell you a lot of stories of how they helped me. When I come into the beach, you know, my job was a forward scout all the time. I had to penetrate the German lines, and I had to find out what was going on and bring back a report on the map. I got caught in a German patrol, and it got lost, and I didn't know what to do. And with 3 little girls, French girls your age, 12 or 13. They kept me hid away. Then they come out the next day. It must have been past noontime. And they says, it's okay now, you can leave, they're gone. Those kids helped save my life. The French people helped me so much that you wouldn't believe. The little girl was Mary Joseph and Simone Phillips. They're the girls that saved our lives. But I just want to tell you how much the French people helped, you know. And that's all I gotta say. God bless France, I say.
Some sunny days, keep smiling true, just like you always do. The blue sky drives the dark so far away. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Again some sunny day.
When they bombed Pearl Harbor, I was about 16. I was in a gang in New York City. I used to think the gang fights we had when we were teenagers was really bad, but the war made it look like a church picnic. I learned very quickly what war is. On June 6th, 1944, I was on some troop ship. Myself and about, I guess, 30, 40 men were assigned to assist the medical units on Normandy beachhead. It was a very, very scary thing. Things on the ship was kind of crazy. It was like some guys were very somber about things. Some guys joked. A lot of them knew possibly they were going to die, but everyone always thinks same thing, just like I was thinking, it's going to be you, not me. We didn't know anything until we got close what it was going to be. We knew it was going to be something big. We came in around, I guess it was now 11 or 11:30. We had already seen the shelling, and we saw the planes coming over. We figured there's nothing going to be alive on that beach. We came in, there was just so many bodies in the water. There was, I still see it, the body parts on the beach. And I was 18, and that was tough for a young man to see. You go into survivor mode. There was still some firing going on. I don't know who was doing it, but all I know is you crawl along, you do what you can, and there was wounded. And some of the wounded that I had were pretty critical. And there was one guy that was amazing. I was putting a compress on him. He had a gushing wound. And he's talking to me. He says, you know, Doc, I made it. You know, I got wounded, but I'm going to go home. And I said, yes, you are. And he said, yep, I'm going home. And he died. I mean, it was a shock to me. You ask yourself, did I do enough? I was just Jack Gutman, Corpsman First Class, and I didn't feel very important. But when I came upon a wounded man, and he's looking at me with the pleading eyes, and he says, Doc, help me. Help me. I became the most important man in that soldier's life at that moment. Because always remember, I'm 18, and you see this carnage all around you. See men die. It was just very traumatic for me. I went through post-traumatic stress for 66 years. I learned so many things when I finally got therapy. And one thing I have really learned, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, in all the years, I've always said to myself, do those people in France, do they really give a damn about what we came and did? And then as I came here, I found the love that was so fantastic. I've just been so grateful because this also helped give me closure about the trauma I've gone through, because it was a lot of hell for a young mind. People ask me, would you do it again? And I've been asked that many times, and I say, absolutely, because I looked at my children, my grandchildren, and the young people I talk to, and I say to myself, they are worth it.
You'll see people dressed in our uniforms. You'll see people that have our vehicles from the war that were left there because our government left everything there. What they're doing is they're remembering what happened, and they're trying to be respectful. In doing what they're doing, they're keeping history alive in their own way.
Have a seat. Be calm, relax. You're at home. You are at home here. You are at home because plenty of blood spread on the ground. I know history. First, it is history. I'm not a collector. I am a curator and historical narrator. That is what I am first. That is my job. I am retired, but it is my job. That is why I'm happy to be with you.
I think that people like us has to preserve the history. We have to make the history still working, still alive, because these people, the veterans made for us years, 75 years ago, cannot be forgotten. And I think it's important for us to explain that to the young generations coming from France, Belgium, Holland, Italy, and Spain, everywhere from Europe. Every year, once a year, we come in Normandy and we are dressed like that just to pay tribute to people like you.
Don't think we don't appreciate it. We do. We appreciate
I hope so. No, but frankly, when you'll be back in USA, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your neighbors that in France there are still a lot of people thinking what that you guys did 75 years ago. It's in our hearts. We are there for that. And after me, there is my son who is younger than me. And my son is doing the same. He's somewhere, I don't know where. He's doing the same as me. Because I'm getting old, you know, and he will carry on.
He's taken over, right?
Yeah. If you do not know where you are coming from, at some stage you will not know where to go to. So I think if you don't know your history, you are not prepared to face the future. Mm-hmm. And this is part of our history. Oh, Jack, no, especially for you. This is for you.
Hi.
there is not enough words to say thank you. If you look around, all these cars, tents, gears, we just sent a message to them. We do not forget you. During 1 week, doing that, we feel more American than French. This is the way we do.
When Pearl Harbor happened, I was a high school student, and I enlisted because I didn't want to be drafted because I wanted to fly airplanes. So I enlisted in the Army Air Corps as an aviation cadet and came over here in April of 1944 and was assigned to the 8th Air Force 479th Fighter Group, flying P-38 Lightning aircraft. My first mission was on D-Day, June 6, 1944. We were assigned to patrol the sea lanes between England and the Normandy beaches. And all the P-38 groups were assigned that same duty because we were so easily recognized from any other type of aircraft. On D-Day, we went out to our planes and saw the invasion stripes had been painted on the wings and the fuselage, and that was to identify us from any other aircraft that was in the area. My first mission, there's of course this anxiety of the unknown, and it's always that with every mission that we flew, but the first one was a special one, and knowing that it was going to be part of D-Day, it was something, and I was nervous. I was just one of the wingmen and a young boy, really, of 20 years old, flying his first mission. You never know from one moment to the next what could happen to you. You could have mechanical problems, mid-air collisions, we had a couple of those, or you could be shot at and shot down by enemy aircraft or anti-aircraft fire. You had to be alert every second when you were in the air. We flew down to the sea lane area between England and Normandy and patrolled the sea lanes, and I can just visualize today what a sight that was of all those thousands of ships in 4 or 5 rows going from England to Normandy. It looked like you could almost step from one ship to the next, all the way in that distance, and it just kept coming. It never ended, and it was like that for the 4 or 5 days that we flew patrol back and forth. I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. And of course I didn't know what was on all those ships, but I knew what was happening, and I just couldn't imagine what these guys were going through as they approached the beaches and under all that fire. I just don't imagine how so many survived, and so many, but sadly so many we lost. I didn't know the immensity of it. All we knew was that it was the invasion and what our role was. And it wasn't until many weeks later that we found out some of the detail of what happened. I never had a doubt. I knew we'd succeed in the end. Flew 52 missions. The first one on June 6th, the last one on October 7, 1944, when I was shot down by anti-aircraft, and spent a month with the Dutch underground in Holland, hiding from the Germans, until I was liberated by the Canadians. I think it matters that we commemorate this day, and we should continue commemorating it forever and ever to bring more peace in the world and to make people understand how important this period was in history. Wars are hell, and they're terrible things, and we can't seem to avoid them, but we must find a way to settle our differences other than through wars. Let's hope we never have another one like it.
During our visit, we were invited to the farm home of Claude and Colette Goulion.
Comment vas-tu?
It's not unusual for the citizens of Normandy to invite veterans and their families and friends to dinners at their homes.
But I want to tell you something. When I left, I went through 66 years of post-traumatic stress, and then finally I got help. And I always thought in my mind, no matter what, do those people in Normandy really care? And then when I came here, I developed closure to here in this last few days, because I found you French and wonderful people really, truly love us. And I love the French people. I will glorify you because you are wonderful people. Thank you from my heart.
As a son of a D-Day veteran,
en tant que fils de vétéran du D-Day,
we never heard what you guys went through
on n'a jamais entendu
as children.
C'est toutes vos histoires quand on était gamin. On n'a pas entendu tout ça.
We never heard it.
On l'a pas entendu. On l'a pas.
All I heard from my mother is that my father was in World War II.
Tout ce qu'on savait, c'est que de la part de leur mère, c'est que leur père avait fait la guerre, la Deuxième Guerre mondiale.
But I never knew the details and what you guys really, really went through.
Mais ils n'ont jamais eu les détails de ce qu'ils ont vécu en fait.
And as a little boy, your father is always your hero.
Et en tant que petit garçon, votre père, c'est votre héros toujours.
But now, at 56 years old, I really know what heroes you guys are.
Et maintenant, à 56 ans, je sais vraiment quel héros vous êtes tous.
I was in the 5th Ranger Infantry Battalion during the invasion here. I was a captain, 22 years old. The Rangers were unbelievably well trained, and as a result, there was nothing that really surprised us on D-Day or anything like that. We've been trained to expect approximately what happened, and everybody handled their jobs very, very well because, as I say, they were well trained. It was really, really bad when we landed. We had the wounded there, of course, crying for help. We had the dead who were floating in the tide and the blood that was floating in the tide. There were fires everywhere, canvas, flesh, oil, all that was burning, and the smells were horrendous. But the most important thing, the thing we noticed most, was the thousands and thousands of bullets that passed over our heads every minute. The Germans had us zeroed in completely, and literally thousands of bullets per minute. And every one of them made a crack as it went over your head. One of my sergeants asked me, he said, what do you think of it so far, Captain? And he tells me, I don't remember this myself. I said, kind of exciting, isn't it? And it was kind of exciting. We were in Normandy probably for 3 to 4 weeks. I remember celebrating Bastille Day in Normandy at Flamanville. After Normandy, we went to Brittany and fought in the siege of Brest. And from there, we moved up to Belgium, the border of Belgium and France. We fought there in the Sarre River Valley up until the Battle of the Bulge. Those who don't read history will repeat history. It tells us how futile things really are. I mean, we would end up repeating a war like that if we didn't know about it in advance. And you got to be very careful to stay away from war. Use force only when you absolutely have to.
I left the high school in my senior year. It must have been about 16 boys. We all volunteered at the same time. So I was anxious to get in, and I have no regrets. I met some very, very wonderful people, and I lost a lot of people. The whole D-Day was only 18 hours. We dropped the boats at 4 o'clock in the morning, and 10 o'clock at night, the beach was ours. It was 18 hours, that's all it was. But we did lose 2,000 men on the beach. I said men, I shouldn't say men. 2,000 kids. We were all kids. We were all kids. 18 years old, 19, 20 years old, they were kids. What I remember the most, on the first wave, my job was to drop the ramp. But I knew when I dropped the ramp, the machine gun boats were going to come into the boat. But I had to drop the ramp because the troops had to get out. The Germans had 14 machine guns, MG-42 machine guns, capable of 160 rounds a minute. When I dropped the ramp, all those machine guns opened up. And the front of my boat, 7, 8, 10, 15 kids, I don't know, they just went down like you're cutting wheat. So I was 3/4 of the way back. So I had some protection because the kids that were in front of me, the troops that were in front of me, they absorbed the bullets that were supposed to hit me. And they were falling down. Besides the machine guns on the beach, there was a machine gun in the hill. And they were shooting down. So that was in a crossfire. And there was 2 kids. The first boy was about 4 feet away from me. He got a machine gun in his stomach. His stomach was sticking out of his. Luckily, that kid, somehow, he survived the war. The second kid, he was about 2 feet away from me. He wasn't so lucky. The machine gun took his helmet off, and part of his skull. And he was crying, help me, help me, help me. And he fell at my feet. And I couldn't help him. I had no morphine. I had nothing to help him. So the only thing I could do, I started praying for him. Our Father who art in heaven. I never finished the prayer. And it seemed to soothe him. And at that moment, he spit up blood. And he died. He died. There was mines in the water, and we were right in the middle of them. So the coxswain, God bless him, he was so good. He got us out of this mess. And we headed back towards my ship. And we had a lot of boys that were wounded pretty bad, and they were crying, Mama, Mama, Mama. We saw this big white ship with a red cross on the side. It was a hospital ship. So instead of going towards my ship, we went towards the hospital ship because we figured if we can get some of these wounded guys aboard that hospital ship, maybe we could save some lives. If we could save one life, it was worth it. They dropped a sled so we could put the dead bodies and the wounded, and then the crane took them up. Then somebody yelled, I want one man from every boat to come aboard to be interrogated. So I got on the sled and I went aboard. And when I went aboard, I'm on the ship. I'm alive. I'm alive. And I gotta make a decision. Do I stay aboard the ship and let somebody take my place? Or do I go back into the belly of the beast and face those machine guns again? And I said to myself, this is what I was trained to do. They told me we made 15 trips with my boat. The PA 2628 made 15 trips.
The time when at the cemetery, and I had to walk amongst the grave sites, and it was so emotional to me because I saw some of these guys die, and I knew out there somewhere were those bodies, and it's very emotional. I want people to remember these fallen men are not to be forgotten. These are young, courageous, wonderful men, and we should just always remember them. Beautiful.
Cette nuit, du 5 au 6 juin 1944, devant les dizaines de milliers de soldats qui avaient ainsi pris la mer, rien d'autre que l'immensité noire. à peine éclairée par les lueurs des navires et par la pleine lune. Devant ces soldats surtout, l'angoisse de l'inconnu. Mais ce qui frappe encore 75 ans après, c'est le courage inouï, la générosité dont ils firent preuve. Il y eut durant ces heures-là comme une force qui allait et qui portait chacun vers son destin. We know what we owe to you veterans, our freedom. On behalf of my nation, I just want to say thank you.
We are gathered here on freedom's altar, on these shores, on these bluffs, on this day 75 years ago. 10,000 men shed their blood and thousands sacrificed their lives for their brothers, for their countries, and for the survival of liberty. Today we remember those who fell and we honor all who fought right here in Normandy. They came from the farms of a vast heartland, the streets of glowing cities, and the forges of mighty industrial towns. The GIs who boarded the landing craft that morning knew that they carried on their shoulders not just the pack of a soldier, but the fate of the world. 9,388 young Americans rest beneath the white crosses and stars of David, arrayed on these beautiful grounds. Each one has been adopted by a French family that thinks of him as their own. They come from all over France to look after our boys. They kneel, they cry, they pray, they place flowers, and they never forget.
I joined the Navy in the fall of 1943 after I graduated from high school. I was selected to go into the signalman part of it, the Morse code, and learning how to read and also to transmit the light messages to other people. I was placed on the HMS series, and the purpose for that ship was to direct traffic of the ships when they reached the coast of France. All of the ships started leaving the coast of England, all going across and approaching France. And as we went along, you noted up above vast numbers of United States and British airplanes overhead going into France. As we neared the coast, there was a ship ahead of us, maybe like 200 yards and off to the right a little bit, and all of a sudden there was an explosion because that particular ship hit a mine, so that eventually sunk. But our ship just continued right along. Every ship had a function. Every ship had an assignment. All I know is what I was assigned to do, which was on the top bridge with several high-ranking officers. We would send messages to the ships that were nearby us. We would read the light from another ship coming to us, and I'd write it down. And then upon completion of the message, then it would be given to the officer. During the course of all of this going on, increasingly more bodies floating. And there were so many. It was almost unbelievable, and it was really unreal to see that happen, so many bodies. After D-Day, I was assigned to go there. That was my job at that time. So we would do the light, and send the message directing ships into the harbor, out of the harbor, so that it would be orderly and not a lot of confusion. I'm very happy to be able to come back because I've thought of that tower an awful lot over the years. I've thought of it a lot. And I always wanted to see what it looked like again. Special for me. In the history of mankind, there's always been these conflicts. Somehow, some way, there has to be a change in the minds of people to be instilled with love of everybody and kindness to everybody. We want to have peace forever, and maybe we can get there, but mankind has got a long way to go.
I was in the 2nd Battalion, I Company 506 of the 101st Airborne Division. The day we left to go to Normandy, where we was going, Colonel Wolverton, he says, I want you to kneel down and not look down, but up. And then he says, a few moments we're going to face the enemy. We do not face the enemy afraid or ask for favors or indulgence. We only ask that if you would use us as your instrument for freeing the world. We do not know or ask what our fate might be. We only ask that we will die as men would die, without complaining or pleading, safe in the knowledge that we are right with what we are doing. Watch over our family and be with us in the fire ahead. Move out. And then we all loaded on the planes, and we had to all have help. We had so much weight on us that we couldn't get in the plane by ourselves. I was a machine gunner, and so we had extra weight than anybody else. Wasn't too long before we were all fired up and left, and we got in the air over the channel. I was the third man in the door, so I could look out and see, and it seemed like you could walk across the damn channel on the ships. I was talking to myself, more or less, thinking to myself, and I just asked God to please not let me show how scared I was, to please forgive me and the enemy for anything we might have to do. We went over an island on the way, and they fired on us from the island, but it was ineffective, thank God. And when we got actually over Normandy, the flak was so heavy that you swear to God you could walk down on it. It was all calibers must have had a different color because it was green, blue, and I was so surprised to see all the different colors. I didn't expect that. When we exited the door, we were actually going too fast. It was just a little small field with trees all around us on both sides. And I got out of my harness, and the only one I seen was the first Sergeant Garrison. He had broken his ankle. We started following all these other troops. So I stopped and got 2 boxes of ammunition. I knew we'd need ammunition, And when I reached down, a bullet come so close to my face that I could actually feel and hear it. We wanted to stay with other people as much as we could. Garrison couldn't keep up because his ankle was broke. And we were crossing this open field. A flare went up and caught them in that light, and a machine gun opened up, and of course everybody went down, so you couldn't tell how many was hit. There was an awful lot of German fire. Garrison and I stepped back into the hedgerow, and we stayed there until morning. When I got across, there was a ditch full of water next to the woods. Some sniper was shooting at me, and I could feel him come by me, and I could see him hit in front of me, and he kept shooting, and I thought, well, hell, if I stay here, he'll eventually drop one in on me, so I decided I only needed one box of ammunition and took off running again until I made it all the way across the field and dove into this ditch full of water. Fortunately, we joined our company. We went on to the bridge. From the bridges, we moved to in Saint-Côme-du-Mont. That position was all surrounded with dug-in German machine guns. How anyone got out of there alive is beyond me. And a German plane came over, and obviously seen us because he turned around and came back and dropped a few bombs, but to my knowledge, it didn't hit anybody. It was dark when we took off to go into Carentan.
I've been back to Normandy several times. I've seen what the people are like here. I've seen what the older generation was like. You know, they had banners hanging from the upstairs windows, "Welcome to our liberators." But the second generation has taken over in a big way. My God, I mean, all these people say, "N'oubliez jamais," you never forget. People back home should see how these people react to us veterans. It's unbelievable.
I appreciate very much the feelings of the French people and the welcome that they've given us. Tears in their eyes and also tears in our eyes. We love France, and we love the people of France. Much, beaucoup. Oui, France, beaucoup.
Ouais, ouais, absolument.
We
love you.
This year, for the 75th anniversary, hundreds of French reenactors gather to honor French civilians who escaped the fighting between the Germans and the Allies, as well as to honor the soldiers who liberated their town and country.
75 years of peace. 75 years is not a very long time, but to the people here in France who had to undergo such agony, they deserve peace. They know what it is like to lose freedom. The nations came together and they restored peace again. They had freedom again. The feeling that they have is no doubt immeasurable. You can't imagine it.
Since I've been in Normandy in these last few days and all, I'm just overwhelmed with the people and the love they show. Not only just the people here that live here that are French, but Germans and Dutch and Polish and all these people greet you, and you don't have to know the language when you can feel the love. But I'll tell you one thing, these people are loving, sincere, they're wonderful people. They got their freedom back.
Well, I'd say I was a farmer kid. Grew up in Minnesota. And I was flying a B-24, it's a 4-engine bomber, and I was the pilot, and when they pulled the curtain up at our briefing in the morning, that's when we found out it was going to be D-Day, and everybody was cheering. On D-Day, I was flying a B-24, following a pile of ships from England to the north end of the beaches. We were supposed to fly 2 missions, but with 4-engine bombers, there were just too many of them in the air, and we only flew the 1 mission. Quite an operation D-Day was, I'll tell you. We ourselves were shocked with all the ships and all the shelling, the shells exploding everywhere. Well, we had no idea it would be the size it was, because it was 5,000 ships out there, all the way from England to the shoreline. It was shocking what we saw. The line of ships we followed, and the shelling along the beaches along here. Landing craft hitting the beach, and there was a lot of fires along the beach, where the big ships have been firing their shots in here. I'm glad I wasn't on the ground. I was happy where I was in an airplane. And then we went in and bombed the town of Le Sous, which is about 40 miles from here. Anti-aircraft was terrible, and there was a few fighters around then too. Bombed the railroad yards and the German headquarters in Le Sous, the town of Le Sous, and we destroyed them. And then we followed another batch of ships all the way back to England, because they told us they would shoot us down if we got out of line. It was my 6th mission on D-Day, and my 30th was on November 5th. 30 missions. They dragged on, believe me, and I got wounded on the 27th and the 30th mission. All I knew, I had faith in myself, because quite a few guys quit, and you don't blame them. When you wait sometimes for a week to make a mission, and you knew you had 25 more to go or something, I don't know how most of them stayed that long. The French were magnificent. I have been here 9 times. 25 years ago was our first trip here. Well, apparently they appreciated it, getting clear of the Germans, and it was a costly operation to do all this, but it's amazing. It really is amazing to see the friendship of all of them, and I get kissed about 200 times a day. No, they certainly appreciate it.
I was assigned to a surgical technician school. There I went to training for a medic. My medical training was very good, and I was competent that I could accomplish my job once we were in combat. I made the invasion of Omaha with F Company. He had been selected to spearhead the invasion, and we landed on Omaha Beach at 6:30 in the morning on the 6th of June. I was able to make the beach. I was seeking protection, and because there were so many wounded and dead, I started treating the men that were wounded immediately in this spot that I had chosen for protection. As I was treating the men, I had to treat serious gunshot wounds or broken bones, and sometimes very serious wounds, open wounds that were very difficult to bandage. And while I was doing this, I happened to glance back out to the sea, and I saw that there were so many men that had been wounded that were laying on the beaches. The tide was coming in very fast, and I thought that if nobody came to their help, they were doomed to drown. So I dropped what I was doing, and I returned to the water. We lost about 6 or 7 medics that were killed on Omaha Beach from the 1st Infantry Division from the 16th Regiment. I stayed on the beaches most of the day because I had become separated from my unit. After I had finished treating the men at this point that I had selected, I had time to walk up and down the beach because most of the firepower had not stopped, but it was getting less and less. And while I was doing this, I found a medic, a very good friend of mine that I had trained with in England. His name was Edward Morosevich, and he had a very serious open stomach wound. I knew there was no help for him, that I could not help him, but I gave him a shot of morphine and I treated him, and while I was treating him, he passed away in my hands. And I started treating other men that were calling for help. I did this for a couple of hours. I was completely exhausted, and I just could not go anymore, and so I laid down and I went to sleep. And when I awoke early in the morning, I looked and I was surrounded by dead Americans and dead Germans. I did not notice that when I laid down, but they were there already. I got up and I tried to ignore this. I tried to push this out of my brain so that I could think properly. And I stayed with the 16th Infantry Regiment until I became a prisoner, the 29th of March, 1945. I have been asked to tell about freedom because I lost my freedom when I became a prisoner of war, and the French lost their freedom in the early 1930s when they were invaded by Germany. I have been asked what I think about freedom, and I think freedom is very important for every person in this world. Now we have had peace for 75 years from the Second World War. Let's hope that it goes for another 75 years and another after that.
Well, coming over from England to Normandy, we didn't know what we were really going to get into. We all looked at each other. This is no dry run we're going on. This is a real thing. We knew basically what was going to be happening, but didn't realize the scope of it. As scared as I was, I could still recognize what I was looking at out there. You're in the middle of a huge armada, 4,000 ships. It was massive. And then you're getting in a LST, going down a rope ladder, getting in an LST, and you don't know what's going to happen. I couldn't swim. I was 18 years old, and I was skinny. I weighed 112 pounds. And coming in there, and we're right in the midst of all of this, I don't think I've been so scared in my life. Just be sitting out there with all the shelling over us and seeing ships get hit, and you're wondering when your ship is going to get hit. Death is always imminent in a war. We could hear the bombs dropping, and you're listening to all this artillery, all this destruction, and then eventually seeing bodies in the water. You can't believe what you're looking at, but it was for real, and you never forget it. I was in Graves Registration, 607th Graves Registration Company. I remember when we finally got off the beach, and we had to pick up bodies. We had the duty of initiating temporary cemeteries throughout France, Belgium, and Germany, where it was estimated that we handled about 75,000 American and German dead. We're going to be seeing bodies in all shapes and forms, and it was very tough for me. It was a tough job for me to do. I mean, it was hard for me to look at the faces of these dead soldiers my age, 18, 19, 20. One of the first cemeteries we did was in St. Mary-Glise. There were 2 cemeteries there because there wasn't enough space to bury all the guys that were dead. I was here for the first time since the war for the 50th anniversary of the D-Day invasion of Normandy. As I walked through the graves at that cemetery, I wondered, did I help bury this soldier? I looked at the crosses and the stars of David, and I noticed there were no dates of birth, only the date of death. I was horrified. How could visitors know the age of a particular fallen soldier? So many were 18, 19, or 20 years of age. They had their whole life ahead of them, but they made the ultimate sacrifice.
The ceremony that is about to begin is in honor of the memory of the soldiers who gave their lives for the liberation of France and were buried in the provisional cemeteries in St. Mary-Glise. The brutal combat throughout June and July 1944 led to the creation of 3 cemeteries upon our soil. The first was opened on 11 June 1944. Over 2,100 American and 1,000 German soldiers were buried there. On June 25th, the second cemetery was opened at a site on the road to Chef du Pont. It would soon contain 4,800 graves. A third cemetery was initiated at the nearby village of Carcabou on Le Forget landing zone. By the end of June 1945, 5,800 more fallen were buried there. So it was that almost 13,000 American soldiers who had sacrificed their lives for our freedom were laid to rest in our soil from 1944 until 1948. At that time, the remains of our liberators were either repatriated to the United States or transferred to permanent military cemeteries, in particular, the one at Omaha Beach.
I was with the 607th Graves Registration Company. We initiated a temporary cemetery, St. Mary-Glise, number 1 and number 2. This is the first time I've been back here to the temporary cemetery, and I'm very impressed with the ceremony. I thank you very much. «
144 pages. 144 pages de noms et de prénoms. Hommes pleins d'espérance, qui ont franchi l'océan pour un monde meilleur dans les siècles passés, et leurs descendants qui, pour défendre le nôtre, ont franchi à nouveau l'océan, il y a 75 ans. Des milliers de noms, dont le corps est devenu poussière sur notre terre normande. Même humanité, unie contre les ténèbres du nazisme, union des hommes pour libérer l'Europe. Ici, 3 cimetières sur notre commune de Sainte-Mère-Église. Un peu plus de 13 000 tombes. Des croix blanches à perte de vue. Imaginez ce petit village. Imaginez les prés, les vaches, les haies. Imaginez un paysage vert. Et puis, imaginez dans cette tranquillité verte des combats, de terribles combats. Imaginez les parachutages dans le ciel normand, la plage où la barge fonce pour apporter de vaillants soldats. Imaginez les hommes qui s'échouent dans les champs et les marais. Imaginez les bombardements, les bruits de tirs et d'obus. Imaginez aussi tous ceux qui s'échouent ça et là. Imaginez-vous enterrer vos morts. Les hommes creusant les fosses. D'autres vont chercher les corps, rester dans les décombres. Imaginez pendant des jours et des semaines des cimetières provisoires fleurissant à Sainte-Mère-Église. Imaginez de vastes cimetières, des croix simples, des tombes de terre fraîche à perte de vue. Imaginez près de 13 000 tombes dans ce petit village. Imaginez ça si vous pouvez et souvenez-vous de ces hommes qui, en perdant leur vie, ont permis que d'autres la gardent. Et souvenez-vous toujours et encore pour que nous ne connaissions plus jamais des cimetières et des croix blanches à perte de vue.
It is a great honor for me to welcome you. I welcome you to celebrate every way our liberation. Me, I was born in 51, after the war. But I heard my parents speak of the war and speak of the D-Day and the liberation. And I understand when I was a young boy, if I was born with freedom it is because young men like you landed on the beach or jumped on the town of Sainte-Mère-Église. Thank you. Thank you for your job in 44. Thank you.
You know, there were 16 million of us in service during World War II, and there's less than 500,000 of us alive today in 2019. So we're just not going to be around in another 10 or 20 years when we have the next great commemoration over here. So it's very special and important for us that are still around to be here and share these experiences with everyone. It'll always go down in my memory as one of the great events of my life, just being back here with everybody.
It's unbelievable what you see here, the people who remember. I can't tell you how impressive that is. I mean, people lining up on both sides of the street, waving at you, throwing kisses at you, crying. It's these people just want to touch you. It stays with you.
Leave to the front! Leave to the front! Leave to the front!
Merci à tous d'être présents ici pour ce moment si particulier. Beaucoup de monde passe dans notre commune de Sainte-Mère-Église. Nous oserions oublier notre histoire. Nous oserions oublier le sacrifice consenti par tous ces jeunes hommes. Ils ont donné leur vie pour notre liberté. Merci à vous tous ici présents pour ce temps de recueillement en souvenir du sacrifice consenti par ces jeunes hommes pour nous. N'oublions pas le prix payé pour notre liberté.
Forever in my heart. Forever in my heart. Yes.
I guess this was about it. The tide was out a little further than that because it's starting to come in now. It's good to see the people walking the beach. And it looked so peaceful. There wasn't a peaceful inch of dirt when I first came here. This place looked like a damn big junkyard when I was here. I seen one of my brigade buddies running up off to my left side. And he got hit with a 50 caliber machine gun. It tore off one leg. And that boy in our brigade, he was trained so hard. He was trained never to stop, and that's what they told us. They told us if your buddy goes down, jump over him and keep going. He got up 3 times with no leg and tried to run. 3 times he tried it and finally had to give in. And some of the things I saw the guys do here, it was unbelievable. To me, they were a lot of heroes. To me, I'm just a survivor, that's all.
This sand could only talk. It would have some fantastic, terrible stories to tell. I often wonder what it would be to be back here after 75 years. And I'll tell you one thing, it's surreal. It was like hell then. I'll tell you, you're running scared, and you got men screaming, "Doc, help me," and "Mama, Mama." All of these things are just very traumatic. And you're in survival mode. I still got a lot in my head, but I am so happy that I got back here. I think this is going to lend closure to me because this is something I needed between this and the grave sites and all. So it's been very traumatic, but in my heart, I'm so happy being able to get on this beach. I really wanted to get on this beach back because I never saw any more of France. All I saw was just this beach. And here I'm back again after 93 years of age, and I'm very grateful, just grateful. I had to just let it all go.
This is extremely important to me to be here. It's a feeling that's hard to explain. Going back and seeing all these people living freely, to see kids playing out on a beach where there was so much destruction and death. It feels like it was all well worthwhile. And of course, I'm happy to see how the people greet us, and they open their hearts to the veterans. Most of the first generation is gone, sadly, but they taught their children well, and their children have taught their children well. They continue that on. That spirit is there. It's important to keep the memory alive about D-Day. It's important to know what happened in the past so that we don't have to go through it again. I'm talking about freedom for everyone. Sometimes you must fight for it and die for it. That's really what it's all about. Liberty for yourself, for other people. Everyone should be free.
I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the the children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, and everything that's bright and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. That small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut tree, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, and everything that's bright and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. Quand il me prend dans ses bras, il me parle à tout bas, je vois la vie en rose. Il m'a dit des mots d'amour, des mots de tous les jours, et ça me fait quelque chose. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, la juré pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens émoi mon cœur qui bat. Il est entré dans mon cœur une part de bonheur dont je connais la cause. C'est lui pour moi, moi pour lui dans la vie. Il me l'a dit, la juré pour la vie. Et dès que je l'aperçois, alors je sens émoi mon cœur qui bat.